Hello. Yes, we're back. I'm Mr. P.
And I'm Dave.
We're the Geeky Guys, and today we're going to be talking about Doctor Who.
Doctor
Who.
Yeah.
I think we both agreed that in our love of sci-fi shows, although we've liked Star Trek longer, we have a bit of an affinity for Doctor Who. We quite like Doctor
Who. I would say definitely a big affinity for
it almost
for
pips
Doctor
the
Who.
post if we had to pick. I would say maybe.
Yeah, I mean, for me, obviously, when I first started watching Doctor Who, Star Trek came on not long after it kind of went on its hiatus. So kind of Star Trek took over pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But obviously got into Doctor Who pretty quickly. And
basically, though, we're going to talk about Peter Capaldi because obviously he's now the Doctor's changed. We'll talk about that later.
Bowing out.
And his last series, Peter Capaldi's had quite an up and down with fans. I think he came in, and I don't think he came in very strong. I think he went up and down. I think this last series, which is kind of what we want to talk about, was very strong. I think it was very good. It was very classic-y. You know, a problem turns up, they go off, they find a problem, solve it, come back.
Yeah, they got back to the original format, didn't
Yeah.
they? And I think that's where kind of Peter Capaldi really soared and did well. I think probably the first few when they were kind of introducing him, I think he was still trying to work out what kind of Doctor he was going to be, how he was going to play it, what he thought probably the show needed. He probably wasn't quite so sure himself.
He's a big fan himself, though.
You
know.
And I think that's why it took him so long, because he didn't want to get it wrong. So
No.
I think he did spend a little bit of time
I would
bedding
say
in.
Peter Capaldi had lots of really big moments. That's what I would say. His speech about the Zygons and pressing the button.
That was brilliant, wasn't it?
That was pretty much a David Tennant. Oh yeah, Dave, that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was David Tennant, John Pertwee.
No, that was you just saying it then. You went, oh yeah, that was a bit of a David Tennant. The Zygon.
Churchill.
Oh, the Zygon. Oh yeah. No.
No.
Focus, Dave. Behave. He had moments. He was really good at certain points, but I think it was just going through the motions for some of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was up and down for me, but this last series I really liked him. Very good.
He's come into his own, hasn't he? This series.
I think because he picked the companion of Pearl Mackey's Bill.
Yeah.
And she was. I liked Bill Mackey.
I initially thought I wasn't going to like her that much. I thought she didn't seem that good, but it was one of those things where, again, you saw a little bit from the trailer.
Yeah, they released a teaser trailer introducing Bill with the Daleks, and it just seemed like she was like, "Oh no, Doctor! Oh no, Doctor! Oh no, Doctor!" And it's like, really, have we gone back to the 60s again or 70s again? But no, she wasn't like that. But
no, she got into it very, very quickly, didn't she? Settled in very well. Felt like she'd been a part of the show for a long time, very quickly.
Absolutely.
And you've got to say fair play to her, haven't you? That was really good for a companion. Sometimes companions can take 3 series before you properly accept them. So that was really good.
I mean, apart from the superhero Christmas special, which was
it was a little bit
all
different,
right,
wasn't
but
it?
All right. Can we just talk about the other elephant in the room for a second, which was Nardole?
I think we should. Yeah.
What do we think?
It's all right.
You know what? We've not really talked about this properly, to be honest, have we? Off recording at all. I really don't know where you stand with this, to be honest. I'm at the. If he's like the K9 for me.
He's the tin dog, isn't he?
He's the tin dog. I think, a bit of light relief, leave him in the TARDIS, go off and do the adventure, come back and he's there again, that's fine. I just don't think Nardole's a fantastically brilliant character. Yeah. Having said that, in the last episode or two, he was really good.
I mean, at the end, in the last episode, I mean, literally the Doctor left him there to sort it out, to look after the people.
And he agreed to do that because it's the Doctor that asked him to do it, basically.
The Doctor made him better, and he ended up having quite a good ending and being quite a brave and strong person at the end. And he wasn't just the comic relief and just somebody who was a bit silly. He actually had a serious role within the story at the end. And I think, from what I've heard from interviews with him, he's been very serious about the show. He's been a fan of Doctor Who for a long time. And I think he just wanted to come in and kind of take away some of the seriousness at certain times and have a bit of fun, ad lib the odd little bits. And
from from kind of snippets we've seen online, possibly he might be back next series as well. We'll see.
Yeah, I've seen
a
something
snippet.
about that.
Possibly, we don't know. Let's be honest.
Christmas special, you wouldn't be surprised, would you?
Well,
because the Doctor normally does his farewell tour, doesn't he? When he regenerates,
and he pops off.
And he pops off again.
Yeah, maybe. While we're talking about this last series and getting into the last few episodes, we can't talk about this without talking about Missy.
Yes.
Michelle Gomez is insane, quite frankly, and brilliant at it.
A very good. I mean, like we've said previously, I think when we heard sort of female master, we just went,
"Oh dear,
I'm not sure about that. That's a bit odd. How's that going to work?"
To be honest,
they actually picked a good person to play that role. I would say
they did, but I still believe that Missy is a character on her own. I think if you said, "Oh, actually, it's not the master, it's just Missy," you'd still think, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah.
Did you ever watch Green Wing, Dave?
I've heard she was very good in Green Wing, and she played
fantastic.
A very similar role in Green Wing.
Yeah, absolutely. Looney Tunes, head of like HR personnel, that kind of thing. And everyone that went to her office ended up in some kind of bizarre, weird situation. She was just as loony then, and fantastic as Michelle Gomez is.
The master in a hospital, that doesn't sound good, does it?
It needs to be the Doctor, surely.
That would help.
Yeah. But no, she was fantastically funny in that as well. And yeah, I do like Missy. But for me, it was never really the master. Although we get to the last episode or two, and she comes face to face with John Sim's master.
John Sim, yeah.
And a lot more ruthless in these two episodes than in previous series.
Yeah,
he did terrible things, but he did it with a song and a grin. But in these two episodes, it wasn't a song and a grin. He had a beard, and he meant serious business.
Oh yes, he absolutely meant serious business, didn't he? And he was just as mad as ever, but not quite as caricaturial mad.
There was no drumming
in the other ones. There was no drums because the
really
Time Lords got rid of them.
They kind of just explained it in a sentence. Oh, it's fixed, and they chucked him out.
Yeah, he ended up in Gallifrey. He didn't stay in Gallifrey for very long. They got fed up with him, chucked him out.
It was a mutual decision, apparently.
And surprise, surprise, he got his driving the TARDIS wrong and ended up on a spaceship that was orbiting a black hole. And
created a load of Cyberman. So thanks for that. Master.
Genesis of the Cybermen.
Indeed.
So
yeah, that was brilliant to see him back, though. To be fair.
Yeah, he was a really good master. I mean, there are some people that said he was a bit over the top.
I must admit, I'll confess this to you. I didn't watch the previews. I didn't watch the teasers. I didn't read anything because I didn't want to spoil it. I didn't realise he was the guy that Bill was with for quite some time.
No, I didn't for a long while.
Really,
known
we should have noticed that, and people are going to comment and say, "You idiots! You should have known earlier." But
yeah, and it's not as though he's not done that before. I mean, he's done the kind of ha-ha Doctor before.
Always does that. He's like the pantomime villain in previous Doctor Who history in like the 70s. It was always like, "Well, hey, it's me."
I mean, he did a very similar thing in a Peter Davison episode called Time Flight.
The Concorde,
where he that's involved in it.
Was the TARDIS was on its side and they had to change the dimensions around because it was on its side in the back of the plane? Was that Time Flight?
That might be the same episode, yeah. And there's a bit where obviously you don't realise it's the Master, but it's Anthony Ainley who's playing the Master at the time.
Yeah.
And he's lying on the floor and he's played the whole episode in a costume. And the first time I watched that, I didn't realise it was the Master. No. And then at the end, the Doctor defeats this person who's kind of not helping and seems to be taking things the wrong way, and it ends up he pulls everything off and he's the Master.
Yeah.
So he's done it before.
He's done it before.
He's got form in this, hasn't he? So we really shouldn't have been surprised.
No, not really. So let's just take a minute then to talk about the Christmas special, because obviously
we need to, don't we?
David Bradley, what a fantastic guy. Yeah. He's not filched on a Harry Potter anymore.
No, not at all.
After watching An Adventure in Time and Space, An Adventure in Time and Space was fantastic. I loved it.
Yeah,
for those that are listening that don't know what it is, it's
you need to watch it.
Yeah, it was filmed as almost like a documentary
of the making of the first few episodes of Doctor Who, wasn't it?
Yeah, David Bradley played William Hartnell, in it, and it depicted how William Hartnell got the role of the Doctor and how he played that role and how he deteriorated in health and got replaced. So he's kind of playing an actor in a show. However, now David Bradley is playing that first Doctor for real as the first Doctor
in an episode in a story.
the universe of Doctor Who, and it's eerily close to the first Doctor.
Yeah, I mean, even Steven Moffat has said that there's been times where they've had stills or few second clips where if they turn it into black and white, you'd be fooled to think it was footage from 1963, 1964 and William Hartnell. So I mean, that you can't give him any bigger accolade than that, and saying
absolutely not.
If we did this, it could be the person you're trying to play.
We literally watched 10th Planet just the other day.
Yeah.
And then you see the footage they've just released of the merge from William Hartnell to David Bradley, and it's eerily close. Well, what's going to happen, we don't know. They've just released another trailer, which, again, we've got no idea what's going to happen in it, except it's going to be absolutely bloody fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, not to spoil anything, but it looks like they might be bringing one more person back from that era as well. And again, going down the road of bringing another actor in to play the part in the modern day.
Go on, spoil it, Dave.
So that's going to be really interesting. Do you know about this?
I don't, so I want to know. Go on, spoil it, Dave.
You should. You saw it earlier. They're bringing in a modern actress to play Polly, who was with William Hartnell in the episode that they kind of linked to in the Christmas special at the end of World Enough and Time, where he's at the Antarctic and he's wandering around not wanting to regenerate. First Doctor's doing exactly the same thing. From the 10th Planet, he really goes out for a walk on his own, and that's when those two meet, and it looks as though in the Christmas special that they're going to have, as I say, another lady playing Polly, playing the Anique Willis role, and being there with those two actors as well, so that's going to be really interesting.
And that leads us on to the next item, which is, of course, Bill Mackey.
Yes.
Who in the teaser for the Christmas special apparently is in it. Yet last we saw her, she was in fact covered in foil and a sock over her head as a Medician Cyberman or Cyberwoman.
Not easy to come back from that.
Not really, no. Which is absolutely bizarre. So how has that happened?
Certainly is.
Interesting to know. But that's all we know at the minute. But it's good to see her back, I think.
I mean, we know kind of at the end of the last episode that she was saved by Heather, the girl with the star in her eye, wasn't she?
Yeah, and kind of went off again. That seems to be a theme now. People just don't quite die. They survive and just wander off, whether they've got their own TARDIS or not.
They pause them on their final heartbeat and they go around exploring the universe like they did with Clara. So, yeah, it looks like it's going to be another one of them where she might stick around for a little bit longer, maybe come in and see the next Doctor. Maybe we don't know yet, but yeah, she's gonna have a small part in the Christmas special from what we've seen.
Yeah. Okay, go on then. Let's address it now before we end. Doctor 13. Unlucky for some. Will it be unlucky for this particular actress?
Yeah, we certainly hope not. It's certainly a big change.
A female Doctor.
Female Doctor.
I have to say, my initial reaction was of surprise. I didn't think they'd actually do it. And they did. And all of a sudden, the internet went crazy.
The internet, even now we're feeling a slight little simmer of it, but certainly the first 2 or 3 days were a bit crazy on the bottom half of the internet.
If Dave Gorman doesn't reference this in modern life, is goodish.
Then he's missed a few
he's
weeks.
Missed a trick there, hasn't he?
He's missed a week of the bottom of the internet.
Yeah, it went crazy, and I think people went overboard too much. I think some of the comments were really mean. You're a fan of the show, you're a fan of the show, and you should support it. I don't think creatively at this moment in time, and these words could back me on the bottom later, that it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think it should have remained as a man, but hey, it comes down to the writing and the acting. The acting we know is going to be good, so let's hope the writing goes with it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we've got a new showrunner coming in. He's new cast, a lot of the new team, a lot of the people that are with Steven Moffat at the minute are going to be leaving with Steven Moffat. So I think it's kind of, this is the way they see to freshen up the show. It's been 50 odd years, 54 years, and they're kind of saying, what can we do that's new? What can we do that's different? What can we do to engage more fans? What can we do to tell slightly different stories or view situations in a certain way?
I think they could have made me the Doctor. That would have worked. But apparently he's not answering my calls now, and I keep getting restraining orders.
No, Steven Moffat never answers our calls, does he?
You know, I still think I should be a good Doctor, but no, he doesn't see it.
No, he just doesn't see it at all, does he? We keep leaving him messages and putting suggestions through, but he's
joking
not
aside, though, Jodie Whittaker is the Doctor.
Well, in fact, she's not. Peter Capaldi's still the Doctor until he regenerates. He could actually say, officially, Jodie Whittaker isn't the Doctor until 2018. She might have a little part to play in the Christmas special, but she won't actually be the Doctor doing the Doctor's things in the TARDIS until next year. So I think one of the things we should do is appreciate and enjoy Peter Capaldi for probably the final hour that we've got.
Of course.
And then we move on to the next Doctor.
Of course, he is the Doctor still at the moment, officially. But yeah, she's becoming the Doctor, and I really hope it goes well.
Yeah, we hope it works, don't we? We hope it is the fresh kick up the bum that the show might need. As some people think, some quarters, it might be the big push forward that we need to appeal to more fans, and like we said, telling slightly different stories. Let's just hope it is the positive move that the BBC and Chris Chibnall thinks it is.
You do realise, of course, this is another photo, an autograph now we need to get.
It is. Let's hope she's a convention girl. Let's hope she's big in with the fans and she goes in for photos and autographs, and
let's
she'll be right by
hope
us.
She is. We of course met lots of previous Doctors, which are of course available to look at on our website.
On our
website. The photo album there of all that was meeting all the Doctors from Tom Baker all the way up to Paul McGann, Chris Rexton. We've not got David Tennant properly yet, or a little bit.
We kind of had a little bit of
Matt Smith, but
jumped in front of him and had a picture, but we've not had a proper one yet.
Not yet.
And Matt Smith still eludes us.
He does it. Matt, where are you, mate? You know you're missing out of the collection. You're the only one.
You're busy with your American friends, aren't you? I don't know. Film 2 episodes over there. Do a UK convention.
Yes, we will get Matt Smith at some point.
We will. We'll get round to him.
Basically, the roundup is that we're really excited for the Christmas special.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And we are quite excited for the new series because we want to see what it's going to be like.
Yeah, because it is a bit of an unknown, isn't it? We don't know quite what to expect and how it's going to be played. So it's going to be just put it on and see what it's like, I think.
Yeah.
See which way they go with it and see what things they bring in.
So basically,
see how it goes.
It's good luck to her.
Yeah,
good luck to all of us.
Jodie Whittaker.
And we pretty much, as a positive, we quite think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes.
We certainly will.
Thanks for listening, guys. Our ramblings, we enjoy them, so we hope you do.
I very much hope you enjoy listening to it.
And we'll catch you next
time.
time.
See you next time.
Bye now.
Bye.